Ow!
Greetings YouTube, this is DecKrash, better known as Brandon. I decided to go ahead and start doing anime reviews in the interim between various shows that I have been wanting to watch, but they're in the interim season. One other friend I know does anime reviews is DarkScream217. I will leave a link down to his channel in the doobly-doo. And so to start off my series of anime reviews, I decided to do the 3 reviews thing and then afterwards do a review of the series. And I've decided the first series that I want to do is one of the newer ones that is available on Crunchyroll, which is an anime streaming website. It is called Golden Time. Now, I started off not knowing much about this series. It just looked very pretty and had pretty artwork and had a fairly interesting story about a guy named Banri Tada, who happens to have amnesia and is now enrolling at a university for law in Tokyo. So I thought the premise seemed very interesting because he meets up with this girl named Koko Kaga. And that's pretty much the long and short of what I've learned about the story so far. Until of course started watching the first 3 episodes. Now I've learned quite a bit. So this particular anime is produced by Genko and JC Staff. Genko is popular for having been worked in part with Genshin, Lane, Azumanga Kino's Journey, and a wealth of other anime. Whereas JC Staff has worked on Utena, Excel Saga. They also worked on Azumanga and Ayori Aoshi, as well as Zero no Tsukaima, which is familiar of Zero. These are all some anime that I'm fairly well acquainted with and actually enjoyed quite a bit. So, seeing this, it really kind of interested me in just seeing this anime. Also, I had learned somewhere along the line the guys who created this also created Toradora, which was a big favorite of mine. I tend to be a hopeless romantic, and so when I watch anime, I tend to gravitate towards the somewhat romantic stories, but they have to really grab me. I don't just go for any of the romantic stories. I'll sometimes go for harem anime, and sometimes go for something that seems to be just a bit more on the romantic side. Toradora had a very interesting plot and characters, which kept me very interested. Toradora was about a guy and his relationship with a guy named Ryuji, in a relationship with a fellow high school student named Taiga, and the complexities of their wanting to try to fix each other up with their respective best friends, but end up falling in love themselves. I really enjoyed that story, and so I was really hoping that Golden Time would be something along those lines, maybe not quite as frenetic, and really Golden Time is a very soothing anime. It is beautiful, it has beautiful artwork, wonderful character design. Now, where the heart of the story is in the characterization. So, Banri Tada is a young boy who, when he graduated from high school, fell off a bridge and lost all his memory up to that point. So he's pretty much reliving his life at 18. And you don't learn about this until the 3rd episode, unless you read a little bit of the blurb plot or look some information up on Wikipedia, which I did, although it didn't really provide me with much, and I really wasn't looking too deeply because I didn't want to be spoiled. So, at this college, he meets up with a guy named Mitsuo Yanagasawa, and the two become fast friends. Now, Mitsuo is from a rich family who basically had his life kind of plotted out for him somewhat, and especially his future with this young woman, Koko Kaga, who he had been childhood friends with. But the thing is, he wanted to kind of break free of that type of life and decided instead of going to the college that his family wanted him to go to, he wanted to go to this college of law. Thus trying to get away from Kaga-san, who is crazy in love with him, but little obsessed. If any of you have ever watched Martian Successor Nadesico, think of Yurika, but with a much more level-headed. Every time he sees Mitsuo sees Coco, he goes the other way, and Coco is always following him. So it's kind of a nightmare for him, whereas Banri is actually fascinated by Kaga-san. And the two end up slowly becoming friends. So the first 3 episodes of the series are as follows. It is Springtime, Lonely Girl, and Night Escape. Springtime establishes the various characters very well. Not only the main 3, but also some interesting side characters like Linda, who's another student who's part of the festival club. We haven't really learned a whole lot about her, but she seems to be someone who's going to be very intertwined with Banri's life. Nijigen, which is actually 2D in Japanese, it seems to be some hapless guy who Banri through some weird, unfortunate happenstance meets up and seems to have started becoming friends with. But we really hadn't seen much of him except in the 2nd and 3rd episode. And another girl named Chinami Oka, who's part of the Film Society and is very young and short-looking, and she's a voice actress for very young girls. So it seems to have established some really interesting characters. However, this has resulted in a slight problem I have with the anime, and that is it's very slow to introduce these other side characters. We're 3 episodes in, and we haven't learned much about these other characters, but we've learned tons about Banri, Mitsuo, and Kaga-san. So I'm wanting to see some more about Linda, more about Nijigen and Chinami, because those 3 seem to be very fascinating. Now, in the first episode, I almost thought that this was going to have elements of a harem anime of some kind, because a lot of the characters that Banri meets up with are female. But it doesn't seem like it's going in that direction. Now, the cool thing is the way he meets up with the characters. At the college, all the clubs are basically trying to sweep a lot of the students, and it becomes a huge cluster, you know what. And so Linda actually saves him from all these recruiters, and the two get to talking for a little while, but then Banri has to leave. And then the way he meets 2D in the 2nd episode, Lonely Girl, is through a club get-together with the Film Society club that Mitsuo wanted to join. And Banri was just there for the ride, and, you know, to be sort of moral support with his friend. And then next door in the restaurant, there was the tea club, who's run by 2 psycho women. And I think I will leave what happens in that club in that club. But it is so funny. It's nothing dirty. It's just, there is nothing dirty about this anime, at least thus far. But it is so completely funny. And Chinami is, like I said, one of the members of the Film Society. So he gets to know, by he I mean Banri, gets to know Chinami a little bit better. But still, you don't get to see that much build-up of characters. But with the main characters, we're learning a lot about them. Their hopes, their dreams, the reasons why they're there. The understanding about Banri's situation. And they're very, very vividly done. I've seen very few anime that really give such well-rounded characters in so short a time when it comes to the main character, and I really enjoy it. And that combined with the breathtakingly beautiful art style. I mean, this isn't KyoAni style levels of beautiful, but it's still very attractive. And well, to be completely honest, Kaga-san is absolutely gorgeous. And that's the thing with Kaga-san, is that because she's so pretty, and she's from a very wealthy family, by the way, lots of guys find her unapproachable, even though, despite her obsession with Mitsuo, she's actually very approachable and easy to talk to, and very friendly and very kind. She has a very good head on her shoulder, and I was glad about that because when I first saw her come in, I was like, "Oh my God, this girl's psycho." But no, how she reacts to Mitsuo is so completely different to how she reacts to Banri, and I really enjoyed that juxtaposition. And it just kind of threw me a little bit when he first met her, because the opening theme song, which I absolutely love, it's a song called Golden Time, same title as the anime, is very beautiful. It's one of the most heart-rendingly beautiful opening theme songs I've heard for a romantic anime in a very long time. And it seems to portray a relationship between Kaga-san and Banri. And it seems up to the third episode, you're seeing it already sort of develop. But when I first saw Kaga-san, I was like, this is not the girl who I imagined, until she actually got to talking with Banri, and it ended up being quite more along the level that I was hoping this anime would be. And the music for this anime, the background music is something that's easily forgettable, but the opening and ending themes are absolutely wonderful, especially the ending theme, a song called "Sweet and Sweet Cherry." If you get a chance to listen to it, I highly recommend you go check that out. And I mean, it's something that really gives a good beginning and an ending to this anime. Like I said, the art style, very beautiful. The character designs are not incredibly detailed, but they're detailed enough to give a good sense of beauty, and especially with Kaga-san. Banri looks pretty plain and average. Mitsuo looks like sort of your average Bishi handsome guy, but wow, they really outdid themselves with Kaga. And you can see little bits of Taiga, for those of you who have watched Toradora, you can see little bits of Taiga come out through her, except Kaga-san is nothing like Taiga was from Toradora. Taiga was a dyed-in-the-wool tsundere type character. For those of you who don't know what a tsundere character is, it's usually a female character who though has a very kind heart on the inside, kind of hides it under this impenetrable wall of, well, of insufferability. Either she acts tough or is mean, and Taiga was mean. The first few episodes of Toradora, Ryuji was getting the living daylights beat out of him. Whereas with Kaga-san, it's not that at all. Kaga-san is more sort of like almost loony, it comes off as loony obsessed with Mitsuo, but yet still is very kind and sweet natured. Although when she first meets Banri, she walks up to Mitsuo and smacks him upside the head with a bunch of roses. They explain that whole thing in the third episode, though I don't want to give that away. Episode 1 establishes the characters very well, and even though it's kind of rapid fire, because it starts off almost normal and it gets a little weird and wacky and then goes back to normal near the end. And it establishes the main characters really, really well, and what Banri wants to do, which is just, develop good memories of his time in college, which seems to be starting off pretty well. The second episode, Lonely Girl, really continues that character pace and build-up, especially involving Banri's little misadventures with the various school clubs, and then having a really character-building heart-to-heart with Kaga-san. Episode 3, things took kind of a turn for the dark. I don't want to say a whole lot about it, but it does build up on a particular thing that happens in episode 2 and ended up kind of freaking me out. But it wasn't so much a big time for character development as just kind of sticking in a couple of characters here and there. But once again, nearer to the end, it's another really good discussion with Kaga-san and Banri, and it doesn't feel forced at all. Everything comes off very, very fluidly, very, very naturally, and I'm really, really enjoying this anime. And the first 3 episodes have really drawn me in, so it's a definite continue for me. And for those of you who want to watch it, it's available on Crunchyroll. If you're a normal member, what's going to happen is you'll get the chance to watch each episode a week after the premium members get a chance to watch it. but you can apply for a premium membership for Crunchyroll, and it's very easy. But regardless, you can still watch the anime nonetheless. It's a free streaming site. I highly recommend it. Crunchyroll does a great job with its subs and simulcast this anime for its premium members. So as it's coming out in Japan, it comes out here in the States, which I thought was a really cool thing. So I think that's about all I have to say for Golden Time. Definitely going to continue it, and I'm going to do a wrap-up video for this particular series come the end of it. It's slated for 24 episodes, and it's been airing weekly, so it'll be a while, but I will be getting back to this. But I may even make some videos if something happens in Golden Time that I really want to talk about. I'll definitely talk about it. And so this has been my first anime review, my first real, true anime review, and I hope to be doing a whole lot more, guys. And I hope you really enjoyed, and I hope this has gotten you interested in watching this series. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And as always, keep it civil, trolls will be eliminated. And thank you very much for watching, everyone. And once again, this is DecKrash, better known as Brandon. And as always, stay lucky and stay blessed. Take care.